Freeman. Let's wait for it to pop up on the tubes of you. Thinking about it because it's got to set up connections to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. There it goes.
This is Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom, baby.
Oh man, Charles would get mad if I didn't use the intro with his voice in it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Charles is out today, but joining me today is a friend and former coworker, Josh. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
Doing quite well. Why don't you introduce yourself just a little bit?
Yeah, so not really sure what direction you want me to go in there, but yeah, so my name's Josh. We, like I said, we used to work together a long time ago, and if I remember correctly, I think we met because of Pokemon Go.
We did. We
Believe
did
it.
Indeed.
There's a lot of there are actually several people that I'm still friends with today, still know today, and it's because of Pokemon Go. So I have to try to remember. Yeah, I don't think we ever really had a chance to like work together. It was more just we're there together. But yeah, so that's how we know each other. But been a lifelong game collector, nerd type person, and I still, even though I'm a professional working person, I still let that be part of my persona and my identity. Try to currently trying to do as much as I can to influence my children and let them in on the world of video gaming, and they love it too. So trying to set up the next generation.
Oh yeah, growing up is overrated.
Yeah, well, who needs it? Well, you just need to be an adult. You just need adult money, and then then you can fully do it.
Yeah, the older generations they don't understand. I guess that we like to keep up with things from our childhood and whatnot. The nostalgia factor.
Oh yeah. Well, especially if you think like just so many things you couldn't buy when you were a kid because you didn't have money. Now you're like, now I have grown up money. I can buy all the things. Now, to be fair, a lot of those things are now expensive because all the other people our age are also trying to buy them. But still,
Yeah, that nostalgia premium that's on all of the different things. Nostalgia tax. But yeah, so outside of being a game enthusiast, you work for IBM. You work.
That's correct.
And you do a whole bunch of content creation for IBM, right?
It's well for myself, but it is kind of like I'm sort of in a sales role in a way. It's not 100% sales. It's kind of like the technical person in sales. So like, just think if someone's coming in to show you some software, you have the salesperson who's going to wine you and dine you. That's not me. I'm the guy that's going to actually show you a demo and let's go under the hood and see what's what, and answer the more technical questions. But yeah, so since I'm sort of in sales, and then I enjoy making videos. I enjoy making content. I had a wild idea to start making videos a couple of years ago about IBM content and just kind of general technology content, not just IBM, but that's kind of the focus because that's what I work with for the most part. But yeah, so I started making videos around like AI and different software, and eventually I was trying to figure out like, okay, where do I need to film? Like what's the best lighting and all this stuff. And then I ended up just filming in my game room. And I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool background. I have like this, wall of retro games, bunch of them in the box and stuff. So this is actually a really good background. And the lighting actually works really well when I film out there. And the audio works really well. So now that's just my standard. Like I'm standing there talking about, what is this product? What is this use case? Whatever. And that ends up being my background. And I also get to work that in and make video game references as I'm talking about technology stuff. Because the way I see it, like I'm not the smartest person in the room ever, never will be. But I like to take complicated things and explain them in a way that people can understand it. So if I can use like a video game analogy, then, all the better.
I mean, the smartest people in the room are notoriously difficult to understand at times. That's kind of a trope with that.
Yeah, and that was pretty much my entire career. So I'm like, let me at least try to explain this in a way that people can understand it. And what's kind of interesting, and well, maybe not, maybe I'm the only thinks it's interesting, but when I started, the first time I ever made any kind of nerdy technology related content, it was before I worked at IBM. I was actually still at Blue Cross, and I had this idea that I wanted to make some of these short videos to teach people how to learn and write SQL. And I just had this, I
Okay.
was like, I want to make the videos like that. So I went out and created a social media called DataNerdJosh, because it was all about SQL and, dealing with data. So I was like, DataNerdJosh, I like that. And I made like 3 videos. Sorry, I think I blinked for a second. Made like 3 videos. They weren't very good. And then I did nothing with it for a long time. And eventually when I started making these other videos, I just went back to DataNerdJosh and I started posting them on that same channel. I was like, the name still works. So we'll keep it.
There you go. Yeah, it's amazing how life changes, but your core doesn't.
Not
And
at all.
so yeah, yeah, it's a wonderful time. Well, let's go ahead and get on to our first segment, the question of the week. And I thought, especially with the myriad of games behind you, that this would be a great question for you. It's, what game provides the best couch co-op experience?
Okay. Yeah. So there are so many different directions to go with this. So I'm gonna first off, I'll think of this. I'll answer from like a dad perspective.
Okay.
So for me, like my kids are still younger. They're 8 and 5, and so my oldest one. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of co-op games out there we could do together. But a lot of times they just like to sit next to me and watch. So I know that's not true co-op, but let's consider that to be kind of
Yeah,
like a
playing together.
father-son co-op. Yeah. So that is something that we like to do. There are different games that we'll go through, but as far as like the one that's probably the most memorable for me, and this was several years ago, um, I really wanted to play through all of the original Banjo Kazooie. It's one of my favorite games of all
Okay.
time for Nintendo 64. And we have our dog when we got him. It's almost 3 years ago. We end up naming him Banjo just because that's just a game, and he also looks like a bear, so that it works. But that's a game that's just always been really important to me, and my son loves it. Even before my youngest was born, like I would play the soundtracks to Banjo Kazooie on vinyl, so we were like listening to the music. He loves the music, still loves it. So we at one point that was like our couch co-op game. Like we was always like, can we play? Can we play? Can we play? So we play slowly on the Switch, played through all of Banjo Kazooie together, and that was a fantastic experience. So that's the first thing comes to my mind. But now, as far as like not related to kids, just in general, sitting next to someone. My brother-in-law and I used to, before we had all had kids in the family and everything, we would every now and then we'd get together and we would just pick random games. And a lot of times we would play some kind of random hockey game, and we would pick
Okay.
like the All Stars team, and we'd play against like the worst team, and then we would just make like a custom goalie with like the weirdest name you've ever seen. Like the last name was like, I need to take it a poo poo, just something ridiculous that took up the whole jersey. And we just beat them like 20-0, and it was mindless, but we just had a really good time. So my answer is nothing like anyone else would give you, but I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah. Here in chat, we've got random kid popping in. Halo LAN parties are where it's at.
I
Um, I
sort
played.
of did that. I think I did that once back in the day, maybe.
Yeah, I played a fair bit of Halo. Only a little bit of LAN parties with Halo. My siblings didn't like playing first person shooters with me, largely because I was really good at paying attention to my screen and their screens.
Mm, that
I
guy.
was I was a dirty screen watcher, and
Got to get
especially,
that piece of cardboard, tape it to the TV to block it.
yep, and that's why when we did do LAN co-op, when my brother would bring his Xbox over, we would run an Ethernet cable from the living room up to the bedroom upstairs because it had a small TV, and they would shove me upstairs to play so that I couldn't be watching on their screens.
Nice.
Oh, Mithra Beata, thank you for raiding us. So Mithra Beata, she's been on the show before. Apparently, she rated us over on Twitch. Thank you. But yeah, no. So that is a fun experience. They especially hated playing Duke Nukem with me because by default, if you don't change it, Duke Nukem has severe auto aim handicap turned on for everybody. And so in that game, they loved playing. There was this level where it was just like a football stadium. So there's this huge wide open area in the middle, and then you could go into this under part underneath the stands, so you could get out from the open if you wanted to. But if you went into the open, and me being the screen watcher that I was, that stadium had a shotgun, but you could also get explosive shotgun shells. And so the explosive shotgun shells, they did not behave like shotgun shells, because when you think shotgun, you think, fairly short to mid range.
Right. Yeah.
No, it
not so much. It's like
had full
sniper
range.
shotgun.
Yeah. And because it had so much auto aim on it, if I knew just the general area that they were at, it
It's like a homing missile or something.
Yeah, on my screen, I didn't even have to be able to see them, but click, boom, dead. And so they absolutely hated it. Like, you get a rocket launcher and you could dodge the rocket because the rocket takes forever. The explosive shotgun shell was instantaneous. Pow.
So my question for you, I'm just curious, have you, like, let's say GoldenEye, for example, because that's like the classic, have you gone back anytime in recent years and tried to play GoldenEye? And not like the Xbox version where they've probably remapped the controls, but like on an N64, have you tried to play it recently? I'm just
not
curious.
On an N64. I've played it on the Switch because they've ported it, a bunch of stuff over the Switch.
And they kept the controls the same on it, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's okay. Yeah. It's, I mean, it's just crazy to think, because like back in the day, like you're like, man, this is, it's not going to get any better than this. This is the greatest thing ever. And then now, 20 years, we're old. I don't know however many years later, it's like 1999. You're like, man, this is hard to play. Because I tried to play, this was like 6 months ago. There's a ROM hack. I have an EverDrive 64. So essentially it's a Nintendo 64 cartridge. I put it in my actual Nintendo 64 and it has every single game on it, plus a bunch of ROM hacks. So I don't have to get up and take the actual games off my shelf. I know that's the laziest sounding thing, but it's also a wear and tear thing. I don't have to put them in, whatever. Anyways, there's a ROM hack on there that's GoldenEye, but with Mario characters. So like you're Mario and the enemies are like Goombas and stuff. Like, so I tried to play it, and I mean, I could do it, but I mean, I couldn't just, you can't just go boom, shoot. Like you have to go over, up, like it.
Yeah. It's jittery and it only had the single joystick with the N64, and so you had to use the
C buttons.
The C buttons, a whole bunch. And depending on the layout, a lot of times the joystick itself, you would naturally think with today's standards that the joystick would be moving around, whereas the C buttons would be strafing. That wasn't always the case. And so you definitely had to. They took into account heavily, especially with the N64 era, that auto aim that I was talking about with Duke Nukem, because that was present heavily in 007 as well. You can literally watch the gun move, and so you're like,
it almost like floats into place.
Yeah, because you'll be walking along, and then all of a sudden your gun will just. Boom. You're like, oh no, there's an enemy over there that it had auto detected. Let's see. In the chat, we've got the full run through says, when I was in high school, we would go to a huge church for New Year's Eve, and we had what felt like 1 million Xboxes connected together with huge projector screens, and we would play Halo all night. That sounds like a bunch of fun.
That does sound awesome. See, I didn't have an Xbox when I was like that era. Like I had friends who had them, so I didn't get to fully experience that. I guess I was more of a Nintendo person during that era of my life, and then eventually was a PlayStation 2 person. But yeah, I didn't have an Xbox, but I had a buddy who did, and so we would play like co-op Halo. So I think we played through the whole first Halo co-op, and then unfortunately that's kind of where my Halo experience in it, just because I've never been an Xbox guy.
Got it.
So and
For
it sucks. I
me,
know.
I had a ton of fun when I'm thinking about Xbox. I had a ton of fun playing Ghost Recon, the Ghost Recon games with my family, because it was literally co-op instead of just fighting each other. You were a military team on missions trying to take people out, and so that was a ton of fun. And of course, Mario Kart is a classic co-op
Oh yeah.
couch co-op game to play. You don't always end up as friends at the end, but it's a fun game to play nonetheless.
Hey, it's someone's got to lose. It might as well be your brother or your sister.
Yep. Yeah, but even that you can some of the newer ones, obviously N64 didn't really have this feature unless you were playing the battle, but you can play teams in the normal races as well on the newer ones. So that can be fun. Or what my wife and I do when we're trying to earn medals in the different ones, we'll race the first one normal, and whoever gets first, from then on, the other person is supporting them and trying to get them to first, because in order to get the highest stars on the Grand Prix, you have to get first every single time. And so
nice.
the other person will then stay in second and kind of act as a buffer for all the red shells and whatnot. But yeah, so yeah, there's a bunch of couch co-op games that are a bunch of fun, and I'm saddened that couch co-op is kind of out of.
Right. It's almost like when it comes up, they almost treat it like a novelty. It's not a standard. It comes up, they feel like, oh, it's a couch co-op game. That look, this is so interesting and unique. It's like that game I never played, but like It Takes Two, I think, like that was the whole premise of that game. It was like you have to play together or whatever, and they make it like a big deal. I'm like, this used to just be standard stuff.
Yeah, well, because for the longest time, at least in my mind, it was PlayStation was for solo players, Xbox was for more competitive but still multiplayer or online play, and then Nintendo was for couch co-op family play. At least that's kind of how it was for me. And now it's just everything's solo play, and it's the exception if it's not. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of feeling a little inspired now. I feel like I need to at some point get my kids together and be like, okay, we're gonna find a true co-op game to work on together. And I was thinking of one the other day. I didn't say this to them because I didn't want to explain. I don't think we can play this very easily, but my oldest was like really out of nowhere was really into Smash Brothers, like the old Smash Brothers
Oh
Ultimate
yeah.
for the Switch. He started playing it the other day and he was like, "This is amazing." But I started thinking about the Smash Brothers for the Wii. There was a co-op two-player like story on that game, and no, I've never heard
Really?
anyone talk about it. Yeah, and it was like a side scroller, but you had to like essentially, kind of work through these levels together. And I
Huh.
remember playing it one time. I was like, "This is really cool." And as far as I know, it was not on any other Smash Brothers game, and it's not been on any of them since I think it was just on that Wii Smash Brothers game. But and you could pick your character, side scrolling, kind of work your way through levels. I was like, "Man, I would love to play that again." I think you would really like it. But I know I have the game, but as far as like, do I have a working Wii somewhere out in the mess of my game room, and do I have the Wiimotes and blah blah blah?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I've got two Wii's, but neither of them, as far as I know, works. So maybe I should try and fix them at some point, because I think they both just got bad disc readers, and so they won't boot up. But
I think I still have a Wii U out there. That might work. I have like the Legend of Zelda Wii U. That might work. I don't know.
there you go.
I would think about it.
Yeah, you mentioned It Takes Two. Shady Puppy says that they recently finished it. Amazing game. And they also mentioned GoldenEye has the best pause screen music.
Yes, I
It
agree.
does sound
I know we were talking about this before we really got rolling, but I have a bunch of video game soundtracks on vinyl, and one of those I have is the GoldenEye soundtrack for N64. So I have it on vinyl, and that's you kind of just want to put that one on a loop.
yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
just to nerd out for a minute on that music, the guy who did that music is Grant Kirkhope, and he also did the music for Banjo-Kazooie, which is like my favorite game soundtrack of all time. So Grant Kirkhope is amazing. He actually came to Chattanooga to a convention last year. I can't remember which one it was. He was there, and I wanted to go so bad because I wanted to take one of my because I have like 5 different Banjo-Kazooie albums on vinyl. I wanted to take one of them and get him to sign it, and I didn't get to go. Or I was going to take him my box, my Banjo-Kazooie box, which may or may not be in the picture behind me from my game room. But I thought about taking the box, but I was like, I may take the vinyl, but I didn't get to go. So yeah, he did a lot of great music. He in recent years he's done like maybe I think he might have did ukulele, and he's done a lot of stuff recently too. But yeah, great music. But yeah, he's the guy who did Goldeneye.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and.
But if I'm lying, I'm sorry. But he did a lot. He did the music for a lot of the Rare games back in that era.
Yeah, Rare. I miss Rare. Rare had some really good bangers, and they don't make stuff all that often these days, it seems. So
okay, I just Googled real quick. Yes, I'm correct. He was the composer. Okay, sorry. I'll make sure I wasn't lying. Wasn't lying.
Just double checking.
Yeah.
So, oh man. All right, well, let's go ahead and
roll the dice of destiny.
All right, let's go with a 3, which is
How do I?
And you and I actually talked about this a fair bit online, outside of the stream.
Some line
yes.
somewhere.
How do I avoid getting scammed when buying collectible retro games? And we're not talking about just fake games, but also just getting scammed in general, because there's a lot of people, and you mentioned it, that price like crazy.
Yeah, one thing that the biggest one that I've noticed, and like I will just caveat real quick. When I was buying all of my retro games, we're approaching 10 years ago at this point. It's been a long time since I was like fully like I'm in there, like I'm buying stuff all the time. So I'm aware that the market is totally different now. So I'm fully aware of that. I bought a lot of my stuff a long time ago, back when you could very easily find stuff. But that being said, one thing that's to me is very difficult to do, because like let's say you go to a game show or some kind of trade show, a convention, something like that. There's vendors, they have booths, they have all this stuff. I feel like a lot of times you do get caught up in the moment, and you're not necessarily thinking about what should the prices of these games be, like what can I get this for on eBay, or whatever it may be. And but I get it, because sometimes you're like, man, I want this now. Like it's literally right here. I can put my fingers on it. It's $50. But if you pause, you're like, wait, I could go get this for $30, and I may just have to wait a few days. So I think that's one thing. And that's not easy, because especially, some people's brains, it's like, no, I want it now. I want that gratification. So that to me is important. Just not getting caught up in the moment. And on the eBay side, I'm sure this is still a thing, but like getting in those bidding wars when you just drive the price up way too much and pay more. The thing that I always tell people about eBay is like, go out there, and whatever you are actually the most money you are willing to pay, that's the bid you make. Then if you win it, great, because you got it for that or under. But if you don't win it, that's okay, because it was more than you wanted to pay anyways. Some people think you have to kind of just incrementally dollar here, dollar here. No, place that bid, and it's not going to automatically go up to that price. Yeah,
it'll automatically beat anyone that bids
lower
than what your max is.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something I try to tell people. Yeah, and on like like on the fake game, like when I was really, really, really collecting, I know that stuff was still around. It wasn't as prevalent as it is in more recent years, where it's so much easier to get fake copies of games, and some of them are honestly, they look good, like they look legitimate. But that's also kind of a red flag, because if you're looking at a game that's 25 years old and it looks like it just came off the shelf, there's a decent chance it didn't just come off the shelf. So like, especially on like N64, NES, SNES games, like if you look down in where the screws are on the back, like they're probably not going to be pristine at this point. If it's a legitimate game, there's probably going to be a little dust and dirt in there unless someone's truly cleaned it out. But it's probably not going to be crisp and clean. And there's very specific stuff, of course, you can look up on, because like every like cartridge era game, there's kind of like different tell signs for the fake one. So like, there are things you can look for without having to open it up. It is, of course, best to have some kind of little tool where you can actually pop those bad boys open and look at the board inside. Because if you can look at the board, that's the best way to tell if it's a fake. But if you can't do that, there's some tells, like as far as like the way the sticker looks, or maybe like where it says Nintendo. I may get this backwards, but legitimate copies, I think it's a square on the eye instead of a circle on the eye, and the fakes typically have a circle. Like N64, there's some with the way they do the serial numbers that's makes it legitimate. And usually a lot of times you can just kind of look at the sticker. I mean, if it says Pokemon instead of Pokemon, like obviously, but they've gotten a lot better with doing it. And honestly, the Pokemon games are probably the most prevalent ones that people are counterfeiting. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like, let's be real though. If you just really want to play Pokemon Emerald or whatever it is, and it's $15, it's fake, and it works, but you want to pay it, but you don't want to pay $60 or, whatever it is. Okay. But don't turn around and try to resell it later. That's it's like an honesty thing, right?
Well, that happened with my sister. She bought some fake copies of Pokemon games for her kids, and then they weren't playing it anymore. So she turned around and was trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And I texted her. I'm like, you do realize those are fake games, right?
Right.
She's like, no, they play them all the time. They work. I'm like, I'm not saying that they're not the actual games. I'm just saying those are counterfeit. They're not.
Right.
They're not legitimate games. And I had somebody actually. This isn't games per se, but at Blue Cross we had that little like classifieds on our website that the employees could get to, and someone on there was like, "Oh, I'm selling these Disney DVDs because my kids are grown up. I don't want them anymore." And so I messaged them like, "Yeah, no, that sounds great." And I went to meet up with her, and she hands me these DVDs that you flip them over, and I'm like, "These are burnt," and all they did was they
printed a label,
printed the I'm like, these are not legitimate. And she's like, "Oh," and I can pretty much guarantee she knew they weren't legitimate just by looking at them. Most people would know, and she was just trying to play it off. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I don't need to get in on that. So, but
that's funny.
Yeah, but even like legitimate sellers, like there's people, places around here that I try to avoid as best I can. Like when it comes to buying games, I don't want to go to like McKay's, for instance. McKay's is a store here that sells used all kinds of stuff, books, games, toys, and their price on used games
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's usually almost just sticker price for brand new games, and these are used, and some games do hold their value, but I'm talking about like stuff for the Switch that it's clearly used. You can see scuffing all over it. It doesn't come with the box. It's just the chip, and they're trying to charge full price for it. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, if I wanted to pay full price, I'd go get a new game.
I asked an employee one time, I'm like, why is this? I was like, dude, this is more expensive than it is brand new. I was like, what's the deal here? I was like, I know you just work here. I'm just curious. Like, I was like, what's the justification here? Because he was just like putting stuff on the shelf. And he said their entire business model is based on the premise that they just like pretty much assume from a pricing perspective that people are bringing other stuff in of theirs to trade in for in-store credit. So then when they spend $60, they don't feel like they're spending $60. So that's literally their whole business model is like, well, it's more expensive, but I'm putting this in air quotes, free money because I traded stuff in. But here's the deal. When you trade stuff in, they don't give you very much for what you trade in. So they give you $1 and then try to sell it for 30.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good business model for them, but as a customer, it's like, And real quick, just sidebar. You mentioned the classifieds. I miss those. I do miss those classifieds. Back in the day, I found some good stuff on there, but um, I'm friends with, if for people who are on YouTube, the guy, his name is Retro Wolf 88. I think now it's just Retro Wolf on YouTube. He's a pretty big video gamer on YouTube. He does a lot of really cool stuff. He goes to conventions, so we're good friends. We met because of those classifieds. He made a post on those classifieds because he is a former employee as well. He made a post on those classifieds that he was looking to buy retro games. And that's when I was like in the heart of collecting. Like I was buying a ton. So I reached out to him because I always had duplicates of stuff. And we started talking. I think he bought some stuff from me. And then we end up becoming friends. And we're still friends to this day. He just texted me a couple days ago. But now he works elsewhere, but he's still doing YouTube stuff. He's got, I don't know, like 25,000 subscribers. So he's got like a big gaming channel. But yeah, it all started, our friendship started because of those classifieds. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's super awesome. Yeah, just if it feels off, if your gut feels off, if there's kind of that uncanny valley, you might want to take a moment, take a step back and do some research on to how to spot different fakes. One of the popular things, like you said, with the labels and stickers, and we specifically mentioned Pokemon, a lot of those Pokemon games have a kind of like a holographic a sticker on the top, and that's a common way to spot the fake is they don't have that holographic. So if you kind of bend it back and forth and it's not shiny, then that's an easy way to spot it as well. But yeah,
and if you're at a flea market or a yard sale, I would say, and you're looking at a game, you're trying to determine if it's fake or not, you're doing some research. Also, don't take your hand off of it just in case it ends up being real, because as you're looking and Googling, someone else might walk up and grab it and go try to buy it. So just, I've been to enough flea markets. People will literally sometimes walk up and try to grab stuff out of your hands, even though you're standing right there. You have to protect your area. So I was at a flea market one time, and this lady was selling some retro games and some, and this guy walked up, and you could tell he was furious that I got there before he did. I mean, he was so mad, and he walked up and he started telling her, he's like, "You priced that too cheap. You're pricing that too cheap. She was like, "Please stop." And I looked at him, and I'm a chill dude, and I was like, "You stop right now, or I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. Like, this is not your business. Stop." So,
oh man, yeah, it's you meet some characters at flea markets. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, I miss it.
But let's go ahead and see where the dice take us. All right, 1 or 2. What do you think?
I don't remember what's what, so this is true randomness. We'll go with a 1.
All right.
What are you nerding out about?
All right. What are you nerding out about?
Oh, that's a big question. I'll keep it on theme. Pokemon Pokopia. That is what I'm nerding out about. It is so fun.
So I've heard that Pokopia has some underlying dark underroots if you look for it. Have you seen some of that?
The main thing that I've encountered is in the first area, called Withered Wastelands, if I'm saying that correctly. There you start kind of exploring, looking around, and you look up in this one area. It's kind of up high, and there is a grave, a tombstone sitting there, and there's a couple of flowers around it. And then have you played it at all?
I haven't.
Okay, so part of the whole thing is that you're making habitats. You're like rebuilding these habitats. So because this area used to be flourishing with Pokemon and people, now they're all gone, and you're trying to bring all the Pokemon back.
Yeah, it's like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, so it's like there's like no Pokemon except for Professor Tangrowth, and then you walk out and you see a Squirtle, and you build his habitat, and he's happy. And then over the course, you start building more habitat. There's more to it than that, but that's kind of like part of the premise. Anyways, so you build these habitats. So they start off very simple, like 4 things of grass together, and then you maybe get a Paris or an Oddish or whatever. Well, you find this tombstone, and there's flowers on a couple of the sides. Well, then if you put flowers on the front, you make the full habitat. You have the chance to spawn Cubone. which
Oh,
is
okay.
my favorite Pokemon of all time. But so I was freaking out when I got Cubone. But part of the whole thing with Cubone is like they say that his skull is like the skull of his
Yeah.
dead mother. So there is that, and then he says like sad things too. Like there's because the Pokemon will talk to you, which I think is the coolest part because they all have unique personalities and they'll talk to you and they have really cool dialogue. But he'll say some sad stuff about missing his mother and stuff like that. So that is one element. And then that same habitat you can actually spawn a Marowak, which I have. So the Cubone's evolution. And I would look up there sometimes, and because you can kind of stop and just watch the Pokemon and kind of see what they do. And Marowak will just literally sit there and just stare off into nothingness, sitting next to the tombstone. So that's kind of interesting. I'm
Oh,
sure there are other dark elements that I just haven't gotten to yet. There's a lot of like things you can find there, like little short like information of like that area before what everything happened. So I'm sure some of that probably has some dark stuff in it, but those are the main ones that I've personally seen.
okay. All right.
But it is an amazing game. My kids love it. That's like the game that we sit and currently kind of play together. Um, and then I travel a lot for work, so I'll take my Switch 2 with me, and that's like a really good, airplane kind of game. So I do a lot of that. I'm not allowed to progress the story too far without them. They will get upset.
Yep.
I came back from a trip to I think Mississippi or something the other day, and I had gotten like a Blastoise while I was gone. Like I wasn't trying to get a Blastoise, but the habitat, there was something going on. I was like, oh, what's going on? It was like crap. So then I had like, hey guys, sorry, there's a Blastoise. Now they're like, what? I'm like, I wasn't trying, I promise. So
I run into
yeah,
that some with streaming in general. How I can grind off camera, but if I'm gonna make any significant progress, I need to be recording.
right. Gotta give the people what they want. But yeah, I do highly recommend it. I know because I know you're a Pokemon guy. So fun. It's essentially Animal Crossing mixed with Minecraft with elements of Pokemon.
Okay.
So
Okay.
very cozy, very fun, very chill. Sometimes it's good to play stuff that's just kind of, low key. At least
Dang.
me. I like just kind of mindlessly building things.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like a cutesy game to play. I just keep seeing people, and it could be clickbait because, like I said, I haven't played it. Just like the dark undertones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting that vibe, but maybe there's stuff later in the because I've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Final thing, quick comment that I'm nerding out about. I'm a Magic the Gathering player. I've been playing for a long
Okay.
time. I kind of got out of it for a while. I got pulled back in. Um, there's spoilers that have been coming out for the new set that comes out here in just a couple of weeks. Secrets of Strixhaven, and it's looking like to me looks like it's going to be really fun. So I'm really excited about that. So I've been nerding out, looking at all the spoilers, and already thinking of like, okay, what can I build or whatever. So been nerding out about that a little bit too.
Yeah. I never really got into Magic the Gathering. I played a little bit with a friend, but I never had my own cards. But there's been a couple of the crossover sets that I've looked at. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
if I was
they've
into
done
it,
some.
that'd be
Yeah,
so fun.
the it's kind of tricky because some of the crossover sets they do, you kind of feel like I think this is just a cash grab. It's not necessarily like they're building like the greatest set of all time. So like they did a Spider-Man set last year, end of last year, and I love Spider-Man. I was pumped. Not a great set. Not,
Okay.
there were a couple of cool cards, but for the most part, it almost felt rushed. They did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set here in the last couple of months, which is like, oh, cool. And it looked like it was going to be better than Spider-Man, and it probably is, but it's like, eh. But it's like they did a crossover with Final Fantasy. People are obsessed with it. Like that set knocked it out of the park. So they did a really good job with that set. So it's
Okay.
kind of hit or miss. Now they did do a collab with PlayStation last year. So they did a couple of just like couple of cards, not lots. So I actually have So one of the games I love is Horizon Zero Dawn for the PS4 or PS5. Those games are amazing, love them. And there was a Horizon Zero Dawn set that they did, so it has like an Aloy card and a couple different things. So I do have that one. They did one that was like God of War, one that was Uncharted. So I couldn't buy them all; it's too much money. But the Horizon Zero Dawn one I got, and I wanted the others, but I was like, I better not. So yeah, they've done some cool collabs.
Yeah, I listened to Brandon Sanderson's podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's author.
Yeah, I did a couple audiobooks.
Okay.
Some of his stuff. Yeah, I wrote an elevator with him one time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I didn't know who he was at the time.
Okay.
It was Dragon Con like years ago. I mean, he was popular, but he wasn't as popular as he was. He was like 2 years before he really peaked. And I was on an elevator with him. I looked at his badge, and I'm like, oh, okay, because like he had like a, like
The
a
guest badge.
I was like, okay. I was like, how's it going? And my wife and I were, I can't remember if we were in costume or not at the time, but yeah, we rode on an elevator with him in I think the Westin or something downtown Atlanta. And then like a year or two later, my buddy that I was talking about that I met because of Classifieds, Retro Wolf, he gave me some audiobooks to check out. One of them was a Brandon Sanderson book. I'm like, oh, I've been on an elevator with this guy. And then it was like an amazing book. So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, that's awesome. But yeah, no, he's big into Magic the Gathering, and so he talks about some of these crossovers and stuff on his podcast, and he's done some just pulls on his podcast to see what they would get from it and whatnot. And so he has a lot of fun, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, this man has millions of dollars. Of course he's just going to spend money on Magic. He's talked on air. He's like, I have to give myself an allowance for Magic the Gathering because I would spend way too much money on it.
I mean, if he's saying it, then yeah, that's something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they say if you don't want your kids to do drugs, teach them how to play Magic the Gathering, because then they will not have enough money to buy drugs. So
oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's the fatherly advice right there.
Let's see. We've got a couple of comments here in the chat. Shady Puppy says, closest thing I feel like I'm nerding out about is probably introducing Mithril Beata to GoldenEye. She had never played it before. And then Mithril Beata pops in. Just looked at the N64 games. Has 8 new games we didn't realize were on there.
Is that on the Switch Online? Probably.
Maybe that could definitely be.
They also added. They're adding some good stuff periodically. So
yeah, well, and they've added on the
GameCube?
Switch 2 the GameCube stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a Switch 2, but my oldest, he bought himself a Switch 2. He saved up his money and got it for him. And so I could probably play it every now and again if I wanted to. I just haven't found time to do that. But fun times.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
think they had a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness GameCube.
Yeah, I think they just added that. And I came up the other day to get a drink in the middle of the day. And I look at the screen. I'm like, are you guys playing Soul Calibur? And my son's like, yes. He's like, how did you know? I'm like,
dude, come on.
he was impressed that at one glance I knew that they were playing Soul Calibur, and yeah, so that was fun. For me, I am nerding out about a brand new anime. So a new season of anime just started, and so there's a bunch of new anime that are popping up. And one that I was super excited for is called Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Or Demons, however, it's got an A in there, so I assume it's Daemons. But I don't know. Do you watch much anime?
I am literally the worst when it comes to anime. Like, people will tell me about it, and I have friends who are obsessed with it. And I used to go to Dragon Con every year, and there's people in anime cosplays, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. I've watched Trigun.
Okay.
And I've watched like 2 seasons of Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay. Actually,
that's it. I think that's
it. So I love that you mentioned Full Metal Alchemist is one of my all-time favorite. Demons of the Shadow Realm is written by the same author as Full Metal Alchemist, and so that's because Full Metal Alchemist is in my top 10 of favorite anime. I was like, ooh, I hope this is good. I mean, I've liked what he put out before, and this first episode it came in pretty hot. So it shows what looks like a village in rural Japan, and I say that because you see pretty quickly there's like things that aren't adding up quite right, and like he sees what are very clearly um, jet trails from an airplane, and he's like, "Oh, a dragon must have flown by," and I'm like, "Now hold on, those are very straight. That is clearly jet trails," and and so later, as it progresses, they keep talking about things like, "Oh, we don't go down off the mountain to the village down below, and anyone who goes down there, they never return to the village." And I was like, "Oh, they used village," and started making me think of M. Night Shyamalan's The
Right.
Village,
That's where my head just went. Just yeah.
and and but so there's this secretiveness, and there's kind of this occult feel going on, like shadiness that the village elders know stuff that the younger people don't, and all of a sudden they start hearing helicopter noises. They can't see a helicopter, but they can hear it. And the main character, he's like, "Oh, I've heard this before when I've been out hunting in the woods. I don't know what it is. It's not a dragon, because dragons, they sound different. And they're talking about the airplane." And shortly after they hear that helicopter, it zooms up, and you see this bubble, like a shield that had been protecting the village, shatter. And all of a sudden, all of these army men are hopping off of the helicopters, are coming in, and they're attacking the village. And you find out that they're after the main character, and we don't. This is all. This is the only episode that's out so far, so we don't know fully why they're after him. Um, but we do find that there's people who can control daemons or demons, um, and the main character is one of those people. He didn't know that he was, though, and so
Hmm.
he activates these guardian demons of the village to help thwart this attack, because one of the elders tells him, do these couple of things, activate the demons. And so I'm curious to see where it all goes, because it's clearly this strange dichotomy where the main character has grown up in this rural Japan with very little technology, and now he's going to be thrust into what appears to be the modern world based on the outfit of the army people and everything like that, and the weaponry and whatnot. And so I'm curious to see where it goes. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I really like the author and his previous work. And so yeah, I'm super excited to see where this first season takes us, and hopefully it has the same quality as Full Metal Alchemist did, because Full Metal Alchemist is in a bunch of people's top anime choices. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I mean, like I said, I don't watch a ton, but the premise sounds really cool.
yeah, yeah.
I
So it
probably
should
need
be
to
pretty
watch more. I know, like my brother-in-law is telling me I need to watch Solo Leveling, I think is the name of it. Some anime
Oh,
that
Solo Leveling's good. I actually
yeah.
just finished. I've watched Solo Leveling by myself twice. I've watched it once with my wife, and I just finished it for the fourth time with my two oldest.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So it
and
must be good
so
then.
yeah, no, it is very good. Um, it so anyone who's going into Solo Leveling, I do warn them, especially the second episode is brutal from a gore standpoint. So if that's not your cup of tea, you might want to steer clear. But yeah, I actually, when I watched it with my oldest too, we skipped like the last 2 or 3 minutes of episode 2, and I just kind of gave them a summary of what happened, because that's how brutal it is. And I was like, yeah, they don't need to be seeing that.
Bit much.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and see where the dice take us next.
Roll that dice. Roll that dice. Roll that dice.
Well, it's unanimous. It is a 5.
Time for a commercial break.
So where can people find you, Josh?
On the internet or like in actual life? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give you my address. Yeah, really the only place to find me is primarily YouTube. So it's DataNerdJosh. So I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier. So I technically have TikTok and Instagram for DataNerdJosh as well, but primarily post on YouTube. I have a personal Instagram, but I used to post video game stuff on there, but I haven't posted in a very, very long time. So probably won't even mention it. So
okay.
Yeah,
DataNerdJosh. So putting it in the chat now so people can find you, give you a follow. Just looking at the last several videos, you talk a lot about IBM and you talk about Watson, and you've got some pretty awesome thumbnails, not gonna lie. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so go out there and give Josh a follow.
I appreciate it.
So And then for us, you're watching us here live, so Wise and Nerdy, but you can also have your voice here on the show. If you go to wisenerdy.com/calldad, you can leave us up to a 90-second speak pipe voicemail, and we will play that out live. And especially if you want to answer the question of the week, we announce those ahead of time. So the question of the week for the April 30th recording will be, what is something that mothers typically do better than fathers? Figured that would be a fitting question since that is right before Mother's Day, and there are a lot of things that mothers do a lot better than fathers.
I think I know the answer. It's most things.
All of the things. So, but yeah, let's see. We don't have any speak pipes for this week, which is quite unusual. Get on it, Devo and Bob. They tend to leave us some speak pipes. If you wanted to donate to the show, you can head on over to wisenerdy.com/allowance, and that will redirect you to our Patreon page. And if you wanted to hop into our Discord, it's wisenerdy.com/Discord. Let's go ahead and roll the dice to see where else we end up tonight. Ooh, number 6. Number 6 is Charles's least favorite.
Bad dad joke.
I personally love bad dad jokes. Charles, not so much. Do you happen to have any bad dad jokes queued up for us?
Queued up, no, but I can think of one. Just some classics, but hey, you never know. Some people may not have heard them. So, what is brown and sticky?
What?
A stick. And how do you know that you have become a father?
When
it becomes apparent. Two classics.
Let's go ahead and see. We've got a bad dad jokes section in our Discord, so we can see what some other people have posted there. We've got from the full run through. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve time travelers here." A time traveler walks into a bar.
Nice. Good one.
Let's see. This comes to us from Tugus Rose. Why can't pirates play poker? Because they are always standing on the deck.
Well, that's going to go in something with R, but it would have been wrong.
Oh, my boys, I threw them for a loop the other day. They asked me what a pirate's favorite letter is. So what would be your answer to that?
R.
R. Yeah, it's a good one. A lot of people will say, "Nay, it be the sea."
Yeah.
So those are the two common ones. I turned to my boys because I knew whichever one I said they were gonna contradict me. And I said, you're still wrong. It's X because it marks the spot.
Oh, yep.
Well, I've got one more. We'll go super nerdy with it this time. What do you call a snake that is 3.14 meters long?
That's something to do with pi, but
A python.
okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Duh.
So, all right, well, let's go ahead and
Roll that dice.
there we go. We got a 2.
Daddy, tell me a story.
Let's see. Daddy, tell me a story about making informational YouTube videos entertaining. So a lot of your videos that you put out on DataNerdJosh are informational, but you still try to keep up the entertainment value. So what are some techniques that you use to make sure that you're providing great information, but you're not, putting people to sleep?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it just comes to general presentation. So it's like how, what's your cadence? How do you deliver it? I mean, because you could take the same script and deliver it in a multitude of ways. So I mean, if you deliver it and you're just talking like that, I mean, like it's not exciting. So I mean, I think the tone to me is a big part of it. And something that I personally do when I make the videos that I make, I mean, I do try to slip little references in here and there. I'll try to make some kind of little joke. I mean, like usually they're very stupid, but it's at least something. I'm not just, because I go out and watch other videos that people make, and I'm not trying to knock their videos, but like a lot of times I'm like, there's nothing exciting about, about this. Like it's good information, but it's not, whatever. Like, and I'm sure my stuff could be a lot more have a lot more depth to it, a lot more technical stuff. But that a lot of times that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for like recently, IBM purchased a company called Confluent. And so I'm like, I want to make a video. It's short, it's like 2 minutes, but it's like essentially, why did IBM purchase Confluent? What is the reason for that? I mean, that's literally the premise of it, because it's more just, people are Google searching, why did they do that? Or so, whatever made they come across the video. So it's like, okay, what is the reason for this? So it's a short 2-minute video, knock it out. And I make, I think I have like one little joke in there, nothing major, but that's usually what I try to do. I don't do anything crazy. I'm not jumping around. I'm just, making little jokes. Every now and then I might zoom in on something, or I make a little offhand comment that's off script, whatever. Yeah, that's usually what I try to do. And typically what I tell people, and I think I said it earlier, is like, I'm not like the smartest guy in the world, so I'm not going to like give you a lecture, but I can take something that's complicated, like something to do with artificial intelligence and, building out RAG processes and whatever it may be, and, make it fun. And, in my day job, I'm giving presentations. Like that's literally like a big part of what I do is I'm going to my clients. I support big clients, meeting with people and giving them some kind of presentation, because at the end of the day, we want them to hopefully buy something. And, like if you have a room of, let's say, 5-10 people, and you got 30 minutes to an hour, and you have to give them a presentation, like you kind of have to make it exciting. Like if you're talking for 30 minutes, they're going to remember like 5 minutes of what you said, realistically. Like they're not going to remember everything you said. So if you can come in with something funny, something relatable, some kind of analogy, something they can latch onto, and you're tying that back to like value of, the thing you're talking about, that hopefully that's what they're going to walk away with, is like, oh, well, he said they can when he was making that fart joke. I wouldn't really make a fart joke, but I'm just, the point is when you're doing whatever that thing is. So that's kind of the same approach that I take to the content. So don't take it too serious, but also be serious enough, but try to make it light and entertaining.
Make it a bit more relatable, especially the stories.
Just make it where, it's like anyone could watch this and be like, okay, I know what in the world he's talking about. Like I don't know anything about this product or AI or whatever, but I kind of get what he's saying, at least enough to, sort of understand what he was talking about. Yeah. And I've done a couple of videos for like the IBM technology YouTube channel. So they have a couple of offices, and they have like a pretty elaborate studios where they actually go and make official videos for the official IBM YouTube technology channel. So I've been blessed with opportunity to go and do a couple of those as well. They do these really cool light board videos where they actually will draw on these light boards and film it. It's like you're talking about stuff and you're drawing. So I've done a couple of those. And part of the reason I've been able to do those is because when I'm recording and talking, like I can keep up the energy and the excitement. And while I'm talking about, what for a lot of people is boring stuff. And something they told me is like I'm a teleprompter guy. Like when I'm recording videos, like I like to have like my full script and teleprompter.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm used to. And they told me day one, they're like, the first time I ever recorded one, they're like, just so you know, we usually don't let people use teleprompters because most people just start reading and they start sounding boring. He's like, but if you can keep it sounding like you're not reading a teleprompter, then go for it. And I've done like 4 or 5 videos and I've used a teleprompter every time. So apparently I'm able to make it something. What's kind of ironic is in real life, like normal day to day, I am not extroverted in any way. I am not talkative. I don't walk up to people and talk. That's my wife. She's the one. People are going to walk up to her and talk. I'm the one that's someone's walking, and I'm like, if I have a chance to get away, I'm going to, because I'm pretty introverted. But somehow, if I'm making a video, I can seem slightly extroverted for 2 minutes and then go back into my hole, I guess.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Presentation just makes a world of difference. Well, and there's so many. This isn't quite the same, but there's so many kids nowadays that they get more out of audio if there's some mindless thing going on. That's why so many like Facebook videos and stuff have video game footage like Minecraft parkour or something in the background that has absolutely nothing to do with the audio or the story that they're telling, because it's something mindless to keep people off. I've heard of college students taking their notes and having AI read it to them over like Subway Runners or whatever that game is called, and stuff like that, because it helps them. For some reason, it helps them retain the knowledge better because they pay a bit more attention to it and whatnot. And so it's amazing how much a small shift in presentation can impact how much learning happens. And so, yeah, no, you are spot on with one person reading the script is going to be delivered in a completely separate way from someone else. And what people are going to pick up out of it can be night and day difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some awesome tips there. We've got one more section to do tonight, and it is
Parliament of Pawpaws.
the Parliament of Pawpaws. And so we are going to react to a Reddit story. Oftentimes we react to something from the Am I the Buttface subreddit, and this one comes to us from Video Games AITA. Am I the Buttface? Yep. So am I the Buttface for trying to sell the family video game collection? Just based off of the title?
Yes.
Probably.
All
right, so let's get into it and see what the details are. Background: as kids, we, meaning me, 36 male, and my sister and brother, who are 35 and 38, we're very fortunate, read spoiled, with new games gifted from family, particularly NES games. The collection, as it stands now, has roughly 190 games, all still in their box. We had a rule that anything not in its appropriate container / space would be trashed. So 190 games still in the box, several accessories, power pad, etc., and a big sack of probably worthless Nintendo Power magazines.
Not worthless.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some collectors that would love to get their
hands on
that.
I have a bunch of them. Yeah, there's some that are especially those early ones.
When I left for college, we decided that I would keep it all because my parents didn't want it taking up so much space in our old rooms, and I've had it ever since. I'm starting to feel the same as my parents. It takes up an entire bookcase and some closet space for the accessories and consoles, and I floated the idea of selling it many times over the past 6 to 7 years, only to be shot down every time. I have also asked my siblings if they'd be interested in taking it, but they always say they have no room. Maybe in a few months, etc. Always an excuse. It has been at least 5 years since anyone, including me, has actually played these things. My argument has always been that the value is only going to go down in the future. That's not entirely true.
Nah.
Uh, there will always be people who like retro games, but people who will pay a premium for the boxes and stuff. I doubt it. Oh, you are very wrong there. They people pay premium for when it includes the box and the instructional pamphlet and everything. But this guy is way off
Yeah,
base.
I keep going back and forth. Like, okay, I agree. Then it's like, no, never mind. You lost me. I keep
Like
going back and forth on it. Yeah.
he's got a few good points so far. And
Few. Yeah.
we're only about halfway through, but there's
Oh,
so much
yeah.
that he's off base with. I'm just like, um. So he says everyone seems to be moving more toward ROMs or just loose cartridges and don't really care about the box.
Mm,
Collectors very much care about the box. A few weeks ago, I tried one more time, and this is where I think I might be the butt face. After they said they didn't want it, I started shopping it around without telling them because I knew telling them would start a huge fight. I got in touch with another collector and I said I was going to just sell it all at once, knowing I wouldn't be getting full market value. I didn't want to spend years piecing it out. And he put me in touch with a guy who made a fairly reasonable offer I tentatively agreed to. The problem is, I let it slip to my parents that I was doing it. I am overly chatty when I have been imbibing drinks. So, of course, despite promising not to tell my siblings, I've now been getting bombarded with angry messages from them saying I am killing their childhood. I have no right, even a threat of legal action, etc. I ended up calling the potential sale off for now, but I feel like I should still be able to sell this stuff. I should note that even after they found out I was serious about selling it, they still won't take custody of it. I am far from a lawyer, but I'd have to imagine at some point family property becomes my property after so many years of unsuccessfully trying to unload it on them and it taking up my space. I care I care about more than the legal question, though. I also want to know if I really am being unreasonable, inconsiderate, or mean to my siblings. So, am I the butt face? And he does have an edit. I forgot to mention that I plan to split any profit with this with the two of them. So, what do you think?
I mean, it is a tricky situation. Um, I mean, the legalities of it, I have no idea. I mean,
To be honest, I
it's
think
not
you'd
like
be
it's a
well
car
within.
where you have a yeah. I don't. It's not like a car where you have an official title or a deed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's video games. So I
Although
mean, I
I
don't.
suppose from a legal standpoint, if they kept the communications of hey, those are our games over so many years, they might have a standing to
Right.
claim ownership,
But
even
then you
though it's
also have
been
the
sitting
flip
there.
side where they're like, we'll take them. Then they're like, nah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you know,
At what point does it become, from a legal standpoint, abandoned property and he becomes the sole owner? Because he
right.
has. But yeah, outside of the legal ramifications, though, is he the butt face from a person to interpersonal standpoint?
I mean, to me, I don't think so. Just because, like, you know, you have these, they are valuable. You're not trying to sell it and keep the money for yourself. We don't know what you're going to do with the money. I know, you say you're going to split it. We don't know what you're going to do, but it's like you have these things. No one else wants them. It's the only reason someone wants them is because, you want to keep them because they're part of your childhood. And I get that from your parents' perspective, but it's like, I mean, they're not doing anything. They don't want them. So, I mean, I don't really think they are that, because it sounds like from their heart is in the right place as far as what they want to do with the funds if they do sell them, and they have tried to get the other people to take them. So, I mean, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if they continue to hold on to them, it's the same. It's like it does. It's not gonna make. I mean, the price. I mean, most likely, yeah, the price is going to go up because they're going to become more and more scarce in the box, especially if they're as pristine as this person seems to be describing them. That's only going to go up. Sorry to burst your bubble there, but
Yep.
actually, no, it's actually better for you. But and they are correct that it would take forever to piece it out. It would be like you are going to take a hit selling it all at one time. You're not going to get, full market value. Duh, you can't with anything. That's like if you
Yep.
go sell a Pokemon card collection, 10,000 cards, you're not going to get it for what it would be like if you bought those individually. But yeah, I mean, I think he's, to me, kind of well within his rights to do it, and then maybe do something with that money. That's, maybe you're putting it in a college fund, maybe you're buying your kid a car. Like, I don't know, you're something.
I think the biggest part that makes him the butt face is that he tried to sell it in secret without telling them.
Right.
What if I was in his position where I'm trying to offload something that has this sentimental value and has this um, monetary value, but it's taking up space and I don't want it anymore. I would tell them, look, I'm going to give you whatever
Yeah,
time
deadline.
frame,
Yeah.
2 weeks, a month. Someone take it off of my hands, find a new home for it, rehome it, whatever. And then if you don't find that timeline, if you don't uphold it, I'm
Yeah.
selling it. I've got a seller lined up and it's gone. And so I'd give them kind of an ultimatum, last chance to take it off my hands, to fix the situation their way, and then that puts it in their
Yeah.
basket. They're the ones that need to take care of it or find a solution, or else you're going with plan B.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree completely.
yeah, but yeah, trying to sell it out from under them, I think is the
A little shisty. Yeah.
biggest part of being the butt face in this situation. And Reddit did deem them the butt face, but I I kind of think they're being too harsh on them, because other than trying to sell it in secret, it's from the way he, now this is assuming we have a reliable narrator, he's tried to get rid of this for years.
For a long time.
So he says
And,
7 years.
another thing to consider is the people commenting on the Reddit post may not be collectors. Could just be
Yeah.
general people who don't get it. So I think that could be a contributing factor to how they feel about the person.
Yeah. Let's see. This top comment says, you're the butt face. You shouldn't have been selling it in secret. Once you had the offer, you should have let them know you had it and would take it unless they came and took the stuff within a clearly defined. Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
what I said.
there you go.
Clearly
Yeah.
defined time frame. The next person says, if they want it so badly, they should let it all take up their shelf space. Pretty sure since everyone agreed you should have it, you're also sage. I think they meant to say safe legally, but definitely not the butt face. So the top two comments are split. One person saying you're the butt face, one saying not the butt face. But ultimately, I guess the mods of this subreddit deemed that more than 50% of people said that he was the butt face, but it was pretty split from
Close
me
one.
just perusing uh it. And yeah, I definitely see from both angles, but I personally would be leaning towards not the butt face, other than the
Other than
secretive
that one
part.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because up until then, I'm like, no, you're not. No, some of the stuff you're saying is inaccurate. Your facts are wrong.
Oh yeah.
But up until that point,
Very
it's like,
wrong.
no, you're not. But then at the end, it's like, oh, but then okay, yeah, well, that wasn't a good call.
Yeah, I am curious if they ever unloaded this, because this post is from 6 years ago.
Hmm.
So hopefully they've come to a solution by now. But
Or
yeah,
maybe he's a listener and he's gonna let you know. I still got it.
Yeah, if you've still got it, I wouldn't be surprised if Josh would be
Well,
interested in some of these.
and what's interesting, because I think it's if 6 years ago, it's 2026, that would have been, depending on when that post was made, could have been a pre or post. It could have been
There was a
pre-COVID
bubble.
or during COVID. That a lot of stuff shot up.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, April, May 2020, whenever that awfulness started in 2020. So this, you know, his perspective, if he had waited a couple of weeks, could have completely changed on value. So,
Oh,
because if
yeah.
this was like January 2020, that's different prices than fall of 2020.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't want to be hassled with it, but if these are in as pristine condition as he's saying, I can only imagine getting some of these actually appraised and graded, and having it
Yeah.
graded, because that can skyrocket the value as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and there's some NES titles out there that are, I mean, worth some crazy money. So
oh yeah. So, but thank you so much for being here, Josh. And just remember, everyone, head on over to DataNerdJosh and give him a subscribe, watch his videos, like him. He's a great guy. And
yeah, appreciate you having me on here. Really, I didn't mean to say yeah in response to he's a great guy. I meant it to your overall
no,
comment.
no, we all
Yeah,
know.
yeah, but yeah, appreciate you having on. It's been an honor. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect fully, so came into it with just an open mind, and yeah, had a great time.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. Well, until next time, everyone, stay awesome.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting, Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
This is your sign to go play some couch co-op.
There we go.